Hello and welcome to the Procurement Reset, a roundtable panel series discussing the growing transformations in the procurement and sustained strategic sourcing. My name is Christopher Bachman and I'm the Vice President of Global Supply Chain and Direct Procurement at HCL Technologies. This panel compromises a series of 6 episodes with business leaders across the ecosystem of the customer-facing industry with whom we have been interacting on how the role of technology is shifting impacting the procurement organizations and how the strategic decisions of the right sourcing mechanisms, partner engagements, and sustainability supply chains that create business values, effective, efficient, and exponential transformational growth. I will start by welcoming the business leaders and the industry thought leaders from consumer facing organizations who, in their own ways, believe that procurement and supply chain functions are setting up a great transformation and how changing dynamics in the industry ecosystem calls for a rethinking of the organization's purpose and core values in terms of new technology innovations. So, first on the panel, we have Stephen Brooks. Stephen is a 20-year experienced professional in corporate procurement, supply chain, and category management disciplines. He currently serves as Vice President of Corporate Procurement at IHG's Procurement and Cost Efficiency Organization, where he has the responsibility for technology, commercial services, professional services, corporate marketing, HR, and other indirect categories. Stephen's career also includes several years of sourcing and professionalism with Fortune 500 corporations, including SunTrust Bank and AT&T. Next, we have Don Ward, former CEO of Austin-based Lourdes Corporation, and brings nearly 2 decades of experience fueling technology leadership from top-tier enterprise organizations, thereby championing the expertise in procurement and sourcing supply chains. He's a proud graduate of the University of North Texas, and his accolades include involvement in corporate factory accelerator programs, OHUB.KC diversity and inclusion programs, accelerator award winner at the University of Texas Venture Labs graduate. Next, we have Purvi Kundal. I hope I said that right. An industry leader. She is the global head of technology and engineering sourcing at Albertsons Companies and advisory board member with the Sourcing Industry Group, ISG. She's a seasoned procurement executive with over 15 years of experience in leading transformational changes and helping companies identify value and improve efficiencies for procurement and sourcing, supply chain, and vendor management. Next, we have Greg Tennyson, former CPO of VSP Global, Salesforce, and Oracle. Greg is recognized as a global executive with extensive experience leading transformation changes across a wide range of organizations, including operations, procurement, customer support, supply chain, shared services, finance, and contracts for Fortune 500 companies. He actively contributes to a number of advisory boards for emerging high-tech companies, as well as professional organizations such as the Sourcing Industry Group, ISG, ProcureCon, Silicon Valley Sourcing Leadership, and Bay Area Procurement Council, where he was a founding member. I'm happy to see Vijay Verma, Executive Vice President of Retail CPG at HCL America, as one of our panelists as well. A global transformational leader with 25 years of experience, Vijay has a proven track record of unleashing year-on-year profitable growth in his retail and CPG clients, which includes several Fortune 500 companies. Vijay specializes in creating business value for his clients through strategic transformation programs that increase efficiencies, effectiveness, and customer delight. Next, we have Paul Tenlin of Shaw Communications. Paul serves as head of the networks and business technology sourcing of Shaw Communications, where he enjoys leading the exceptional and diverse group of category managers responsible for driving change in wireless and wireframe telecom networks, satellite technology, and business sectors. His background includes supply chain development, manufacturing experience in OEM, EMS, and distribution environments. In addition to many other accomplishments, he's created and implemented a global distribution purchasing strategy for a $7 billion multinational electronics manufacturer. And finally, It is a pleasure to have David Johnston, former Senior Vice President of Blue Yonder. David comes with an expensive 30 plus years of experience in delivering value to global clients through innovative supply chain logistics, retailing, and merchandising solutions. At Blue Yonder, he led a team of supply chain professionals responsible for overall customer value and experience journeys. We look forward to an exciting discussion and insights exchanged on procurement transformations and strategic supply chain sourcings, which we are calling the Procurement Reset. So thank you all for joining. So let's begin with Stephen. Stephen, as you have significant experience in your career in strategic sourcing and the procurement function, what, according to you, are the trending challenges in the global sourcing and supply chain fulfillment seen by procurement leaders, especially with logistics distributions in the continued pandemic times? How is the hospitality industry seeing these challenges?
So first, thanks for the invitation. Really delighted to be a part of a panel with so many esteemed colleagues. What I would say is we are seeing now a significant move away from what we might have previously considered just-in-time sort of inventory, right? With the challenges that we see in terms of access to labor markets, challenges and slowdowns in manufacturing, challenges and slowdowns at the ports and the last mile of delivery. And so what there is increasing reliance on, I think now, is sort of local sources of supply, right? So we can't rely necessarily on the old methods of manufacturing and delivery. So looking at local sources of supply. And the other thing that we are beginning to try to do is ensure that we are better leveraging technology, right? It's no longer acceptable to say that the product has been shipped with a sort of proverbial, it's in the mail, it's on the way. So we've got to be able to say if there are, 4 or 5 containers, right, that contain our products and services for those of us who've chosen not to actually lease a boat to bring our things over, we've got to be able to say that 3 of those are at this point in the Atlantic or in the Pacific, and 2 of these are at the port, and this is the point at which we expect those to be able to be checked in and available for distribution. So I think it's really understanding how we get better at forecasting and how we get better at leveraging technology, right? And how we leverage local sources of supply in order to be able to meet the needs of our end user customers.
It's very insightful, especially since people love to travel and hospitality experiences play a great role in people's lives and enrich living experience. I would say that we've seen the same trends as far as needing to go back to a um, greater degree of planning than maybe we forgot how to do a long time ago, since we were expecting everything to be in the channel. So thank you. I'll take the same question back to Don Ward. Don, as we just heard from Stephen on the familiarities with the hospitality industry, what are your views on transformations that we are witnessing in the stringent supply chains, and what are the mitigation factors that can be incorporated to tackle procurement challenges in customer-facing organizations?
Yeah, I'd like to say thanks as well. And just a little bit more context for the team. I have a startup in Austin that utilizes precision technology, specifically IoT and artificial intelligence, to track various things in the supply chain. And specifically, right now, we are tracking linens for hospitality. And so that's the technology that we're using. We're using machine learning and artificial intelligence to do that. And what we've seen in Austin is, there's been issues, to Stephen's point, especially when it comes to the hospitality industry. There were 11 million jobs lost during the hospitality industry, over the last couple of years due to the pandemic, and the availability of inventories, things such as simple as linens and replenishing those have gotten harder. It's led to more of a not where you go to get it, but when and where you get it type of mentality. So I think that this has really stretched the industry in general, and it's leading to opportunities to rethink, simple and manual processes that have existed for years and years through the use of technology.
Great. Thanks, Don. And this is truly where we believe that technology plays a strong role in revolutionizing the business procurements and supply chain functions for sustained sourcing models. So now let's hear from Vijay, who leads the CPG retail group at HCL, to understand his viewpoint. Vijay, what are the trending challenges in the global sourcing and supply chain fulfillments as seen from an IT services standpoint, and what makes you believe that investments must be made in technology solutions for procurements and strategic sourcing?
First of all, I'd
Vijay.
like to, thank you all, for being part of this panel. I'm delighted to be part of such a decorated panel. And completely echo with what Steve and Don has talked about, in terms of the how COVID-19 or the current situation we are, they have clearly demonstrated or shown us that that how technology can impact. So if you see conventionally, supply chain has been a very complex ecosystem of vendors, suppliers, manufacturers, and now COVID-19 pandemic, it has posed a significant challenge for supply chain, leaders globally in order to manage the disruptions and how to continue the business. It was more of in terms of survival, revival, and then thrive. We have seen across that it has put an immense slowdown, on the retail trade activities, and how the challenge was how we can bring in technology in order to mitigate the impact on business activities. You know, companies must deploy, which I've seen, like, innovative measures on inventory management and distribution, engage in strategic partnership with players and intermediaries, across the value chain. The biggest challenge which is faced by, I think, companies today in the global sourcing strategy is unifying a company's risk factor, operational requirements, and sales goals with the latest technology. And I completely agree, what Don talked about, that how we can leverage artificial intelligence analytics for sourcing decisions. The technologies, it creates multiple models and it analyzes thousands of data inputs in a moment, and therefore help in making more insightful sourcing decisions across the globe. And we have seen that AI has become a game changer, for sourcing and procurement, especially during the pandemic time. And we know that this is going to be the new normal as we move forward. You know, and and the advantage is that because of its ability to analyze huge volumes of data, understand relationships, provide visibility into operations, and support better decision making with minimum human intervention. I think, that's my thought, Chris.
Thanks, Vijay, Don, and Stephen, for the great insights on some of these challenges and how to address them from a strategic sourcing transformation perspective.